everyone. I'm here to share today a translation I made from original video from Sergio Torres, Reflections about Peace. I'm gonna leave his information here in the description. But I wanted to share this with you because right now it is highly important to share and talk about peace, especially because we're craving it so bad right now. So I hope you enjoy it. If you like it, please share it, subscribe, and of course like the video. And any questions, please leave it here in the comments. I'm willing to read them all, and if we need to dig deeper into this, I will be more than happy. Talk to you soon. What is peace? It is very curious because when a conflict emerges, especially when the conflict is warlike, we feel called to peace. But curiously, we have no idea of what peace is. When these kind of conflicts appear, when the need for peace is very clear, we can also see that the peace we seek, the peace we desire, we look for, is a peace that is actually the opposite of a warlike conflict. It is the opposite of war. Our peace, ours, is that one that is in opposition to war. It is that if there is a war, there is no peace, and if there is peace, there is no war. They are oppositions, they are opposites. But in reality, peace remains a great mystery for most human beings. It's obvious, I insist, that when a warlike conflict emerges, there is a call for peace. That is very obvious, and it is very evident. But instead of introducing ourselves to the discovery of what peace is, what we usually do is oppose the warlike conflict, and that opposition to conflict generates more conflict. So let's dive in, let's get together in that research of peace. That although we are, because we are that peace, it is also true that it does not belong to us. That is not a peace that we can have. It is not a peace that can be given. It's a peace that we are. So if we look at the context in which we are now, where so many people cry out for peace, but so few people are open to discovering what peace is and where peace lies within us. So let's take that trip. Let's go into it. And so the first thing we're going to do, is to look at what is calling us to peace. What is the call to peace? And notice that from the outset, although there is a clear call, peace is not what is calling us, but it is the conflict that we perceive, the war that we perceive, that is calling us. The disorder and the incoherence in the world we live in that we perceive is what calls us to peace, to another way of being, to another way to introduce ourselves into this world. So let's look at that. Let's look at that call. Let's look at the conflict. And the first thing we will see if we look at the conflict is an identity confusion. We will see human beings fighting against humans. We will see an excess of egoic identity represented in a national, ethnic, or religious, or any other way. I am from this nationality. I am from this other nationality. The other is of that other person is from another nationality. And under that separate national perception, which is very evident in these current conflicts, is where we try to apply peace when peace is a synonym of unity. Peace is, in fact, the absence of separated perception. Without the absence of separate perception, peace cannot exist. This is why many times when we want peace, we ally ourselves with one of the sides of the conflict. The peace we want does not include the other side of the conflict in which we don't feel identified. It's that kind of peace that continues to divide, that continues to segregate. That's not peace. It is our peace. And it responds to our own sense of justice and not the justice in capital letters. Justice is fair and therefore is a representation of unity. If we continue to look at the conflict in front of us, we will see that it is not only exposing our false identity or confused identity, but it is also asking us to start to navigate within the depth of our being where we can see each other as expressions of the same consciousness. All human beings, all together inhabitants of the same universe. This call is barely heard and barely seen. But when we lock ourselves in trying to make our peace prevail in the world, instead of discovering the unity that lies behind all appearances, behind all our conflicting perceptions. So please, let's continue looking at this conflict that we're seeing, that we are perceiving, and realize that if you are aware of the conflict that you see, it is because within you there is the idea of conflict, there is the idea of war. If that idea didn't exist, you wouldn't see a war, you wouldn't see a conflict. So please, let's start moving towards peace and let's get there. So breathe deeply throughout this entire process using your belly. Close your eyes if you want, um, and look inside yourself. In what spaces, in what places, in what memories, with whom, or in what situations you are not in peace or you are in conflict with. Observe in what parts of you, in what memories of yourself, in what situations of yourself you still do not experience peace. So that you want to put that conflict into a warlike conflict. You can't make peace if you don't know it. And you can't not know if you keep tying yourself to your own conflicts. So let's go. Let's go to it. And keep your eyes closed if you have them closed. It is not necessary to have them closed, yet it is necessary to look inwards. And please let your attention rest on those conflictive spaces within you and observe that situation, observe that person, that memory, and tell yourself, what am I seeing is a conflict with myself. It's a conflict within myself. It's a conflict that lives within me. Because by paying attention to that conflict, to that memory or that person, I am placing my attention on myself. Therefore, that conflict is in me. And keep looking at that person. Keep looking at that situation or that memory that you are in conflict with, and realize that this is no longer a time for conflicts. That conflict no longer makes sense. It is time for peace to be restored into your mind, and for peace to be seen from your own human experience. And this is the time for that. Now, it is very important that you do not reject the conflict you see in yourself, because if you reject it, you are going to put yourself in opposition to the conflict, and if you put yourself in opposition to the conflict, you are going to you're going to come into conflict with the conflict, and that is not how peace emerges in the human mind. Peace emerges by itself, emerges just simply when your mind is ready to embrace it. And if your mind is busy trying to resolve conflicts, if your mind is full of conflicts and in conflict with conflicts, the peace that is already there cannot be seen, because then your attention will be focused on trying to solve something that no longer makes sense. Uh, that its existence no longer makes sense at all. So you just keep looking at that conflict, that person, that situation, that memory, and welcome them. Invite them in. Observe that this conflict is in you and recognize it. That's not a problem. There's not a problem with recognizing it. Those people who are in peace, actually, is not that they don't have conflicts, it's just that they are not afraid of them. They are not afraid of their conflicts. They then become a place where conflict is welcomed, and there very possibly peace will dissolve them. But first, friend, you have to welcome that disturbs you so much inside of you. Let's keep breathing, and now keep feeling that conflict. Welcome it. It is no longer time to fear conflicts. It is no time to pretend that we are very advanced or evolved, that we have many years of meditative practice, that we are enlightened. No, it's not the time for that now. It is time for honesty. It is time for the discovery of inner certainty. It is time to put aside everything that prevents us from seeing who we are and what we do in this world. So please, while you do this right now, allow the conflicts that exist in this world. Please allow them to exist, because they are nothing more than calls for peace. They are proof that human beings are not as advanced as they think. They are ways of showing a human being that requires a deep exercise of looking and discovering of what peace really is. So keep breathing and keep looking at your conflicts, and keep welcoming them as you let go of your attempts to solve the world. Because a mind that is not in peace cannot solve anything. How are you going to fix the conflict you see in the world if you're not at peace? What's more, you are likely to be in conflict with the conflict you see, because what you see out there reflects your inner state, and because what you see outside is a call to reconcile yourself with that space, with that realm, to be able to reconcile yourself with the world, and to be able to share a kind of peace that this world doesn't know. I insist, peace is not the absence of war. Peace is that consciousness that no longer sees wars. Therefore, it does not create them or sustain them. And so you don't need them because you're in peace. Let's keep breathing, and we continue to move forward. Observe that we are using conflict. Many people does not expect this. Many people expect to meditate in peace, as if peace was something that human beings know. How can I meditate on peace if I don't know it myself? If I don't know what it is? Um, well, I'm going to instead meditate on what I know. I know the conflict. I know fear. And right behind uh, those conflicts, behind that fear, is the peace I seek, is the peace I'm looking for. This is where peace actually lies. So I'm going to keep moving forward. Many people seek peace by fleeing from their conflicts, by running away from them and running away from their fears, because they think that peace is the opposite of that. But peace has no opposites. That's why it is actually peace, right? Can you imagine? Let's do this exercise. Can you imagine a peace that was afraid of fear? Because if I were afraid, well, there would not be peace. That is not peace, right? So peace has no opposites. So keep breathing, enjoy every breath, and so we continue looking at the conflict, and now we are going to focus our attention even more and observe what is behind the conflict you experience with that person, with that situation, with that memory. Behind that conflict you fear, and please feel that fear. Unveil that fear. Unveil it, of your ideas, of your pretensions, of your attempts to be beyond fear. Discover that fear. What have you tried to do with it? With the only purpose of not to feel it, to run away from it. And notice that that fear is in you, lives with you. Now, feel, please, that fear. Feel it. Feel that fear and open your heart to it and tell fear, hey, fear, you are welcome. You are welcome. You are in me. You're welcome. And open your heart to that fear and feel that fear as if it were an unconscious baby who has just been born and is in your arms. Feel that fear as if it were an unconscious emanation of you that doesn't know what it is, who doesn't know what it is, who doesn't know why it exists. Embrace that fear as if it didn't know what it was doing in this world. Embrace it with all your heart and realize that the fear you feel is the same fear that is felt in our warlike conflict. The same victims of our warlike uh, conflict, victims of a war, feel fear. And those who are perpetrating this war also feel fear because fear is unconsciousness. And who else was not going to commit or get into a war but an unconscious person? You can see how we are not separate, even though it seems that way, but we are not. Whoever shoots feels fear, even if they deny it. And whoever is shot feels fear. The same fear that you feel in the face of the conflict that you feel inside of you. So please, let's get together and let's feel afraid for just a moment. Let's get together, please, and feel fear as what it is, a small possibility within the human mind, a small possibility that they believed was their guide, which they believed was the seed of their existence, something they've been confused about, and they have left their decisions in the hands of fear. In the hands of fear, your gestures, your actions, your relationships, your feelings. We have made fear our guide, but now it's not the time for that. It's time to realize that we don't want that anymore and that we are at peace with ourselves. We've been confused for a while. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Who wouldn't be confused in a world where it seems that everything that surrounds us is strange to us? How could we not feel get confused even for a moment in a human world where it seems that the other is the other and that I am me and that you are you? How could we not be confused even for a moment? Uh, how could we not be in conflict if what we perceive is not as we see it, as we perceive it? How can we not feel afraid, right? Um, so keep breathing and keep feeling that fear, please. And notice that when you open your heart and join to fear, you join to the fear of others, and you join to the fear of this world, to the fear of the conflict of this world. And then something starts to open, to unlock in your heart. Something different begins to be born. The first signs of rest are beginning to appear. The break from the internal struggle, the break from trying to fight with this world to make it a better world, the break from trying to impose a peaceful justice that fights against war injustice. So let's take a break from all that and allow peace to continue to continue showing up in our hearts. This world appears before us as a world of noise, a world of complaints, a world of suffering, a world of pain and chaos. Let it present itself that way. There's nothing wrong with that. Let it present like this. That's okay. At the end of the day, everything I'm going to see in this world is going to reflect my mental state, is going to reflect how I feel. And am I in noise with the noise? Am I at war with war? Am I afraid of fear? I'm going to see it very clearly. So thanks a lot to that vision. Keep breathing. As we're breathing, I will continue opening up myself to peace. And I will continue to allow this world to be as it is. As I continue to rest, to have a break from my attempts to rise up with a white flag and beat all those who wage war with the stick of that flag. I continue resting, continue breathing. I continue to open myself up to receive and to welcome my conflicts. Come all to this moment because in this moment I'm present, and in this moment I am ready and I am open to receive you as I have never done before. Come conflicts, come memories, come, wake up, please. Don't sleep in my unconscious mind anymore. Sleep no longer in the dark corners of my mind. Do not fall asleep anymore, nor settle in the shadow of my emotional field. Don't hide behind my decisions, no matter how nice they may seem. Please, please, internal conflicts, appear. Wake up to my presence because I'm here watching. I'm here ready to see you. Keep feeling the fear, keep feeling the conflict, and realize that it doesn't matter what conflict you feel or what conflict you see. That conflict is a perfect call for peace. It is a perfect call to an internal space that we do not know. And we let the world to continue screaming, and the world continues screaming in conflict. Let's keep going inside ourselves and let's continue resting at this moment. Keep opening your heart, please. The heart is wise. The heart knows the peace we seek, peace we look for. Our mind has to be in the place, our mind actually has to be the place where the heart emanates and deposits peace so that we can start thinking thoughts based on peace and make decisions based on peace and act based on peace. Not in a peace that opposes conflict, but a peace that expands itself due to its infinite nature. Peace reigns in the universe. Why wouldn't it reign in our mind? Why wouldn't it reign in this world? Keep forward and keep feeling and keep welcoming everything that disturbs you, no matter how insignificant it may be. Please let it not be even a trace of hidden disturbance. Do it with the clear intention of freeing yourself from what you have treasured for so long inside of you. In this world, keep feeling and be thankful for your ability to open up. Be thankful for your ability to feel and be thankful for your presence. Feel the presence, feel it, please, that presence. Notice how the presence is not in conflict with anything unless we start introducing our ideas, personal ideas of what I think it should be or what I think it shouldn't be. If I focus on the presence, I will realize that I am present in this world. You will realize that you are present in this world, that your presence in this world is what peace is. You can't see the peace that exists in war if you don't realize that you are peace on your own. So you can't understand that war is a call to all human beings to realize how stupid conflicts are among human beings. Then war becomes what it is, the manifestation of stupidity and the profound call to sanity. But, my friend, you have to represent that sanity. You have to represent that sanity, and the only way to represent that sanity is by going inside yourself and being what you have come to be in this world. You have not come to be in conflict with your memories or in conflict with that person or in conflict with your emotions or in conflict with your thoughts or with your economic situation. You have not come to this world for that. You have come to this world to be, you have not come to this world to be in conflict with the world. You have come actually to discover the peace that you represent on this world in your presence and walk in this world as if you didn't belong to it, as if you didn't belong to this world of noise, to this world of scarcity, to this very human world that we have built based on ignorance. We do not belong to this world. So keep feeling. And if there's still any conflict or fear in you, please continue to feel it. Happy to be doing your job. Happy to be doing your job. Happy to be doing your role, to be accepting your conflict, and to be open to recognizing it and embracing it. And while you're doing this, please now open your internal gaze to the world you live in and realize that, in fact, there are conflicts in this world. There are conflicts, perhaps a conflict is emerging right now. And let's welcome them. Let us welcome this conflict, not because we are supporting it, not because we agree with the conflict, but because we are living this struggle. We're letting go of this struggle. We are giving up the fight. We are opening ourselves to recognize that the conflict we see outside of us are also part of us. That's why when we open our hearts, the heart comes. You may not see it, you may not notice it yet, but if you can feel your heart open, you will realize that the only thing this world requires right now is human beings with open hearts. So don't get confused, don't get lost. Do not enter into conflict with warlike conflicts. Do not enter into conflict with the absence of peace. Open yourself to be it and discover that our interior is already in that capacity. If it can be, hence we are ready to be. We are ready to witness a world from a completely different perspective. A tired world that is tired of receiving the projections of our ignorance and our unconsciousness. A world that comes to an end at every moment. Every moment you find yourself in this world, it comes to an end. But we perpetuate its existence out of ignorance and out of fear. Fear of, of being what we have come to do, to be pure love, pure consciousness. So please can keep opening your heart, and when an image appears where your heart trembles, tell yourself, okay, here's a situation that makes my heart shake. I will look inside myself, wondering what idea or what internal conflict do I have that when I see it, when I see this external conflict, my heart trembles. And by perceiving this internal conflict, you welcome it. You open your heart to it, and you feel the peace that lies within your heart, and you allow the peace that dwells in your being expand to the world you perceive. You may continue to feel pain for a few days, for a few moments. You may feel angry when you see the conflict that exists in this world. Don't be afraid of that. Keep doing your job. Continue to become a witness of peace, which translates to the world of separation from conflict into the world of love. So breathe deeply, go ahead, let nothing stop you, and thank you for coming with me on this path. Also, thanks a lot to Sergi Torres. And if you enjoyed, if this reflection, if this meditation helped you in any way, please support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll see you next time. Bye.